Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 16. The episode is titled, Are You In or Are You Out? If you guys haven't already, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and I guess let's review.
Let's do it.
I'm going to start off with, I don't want to call it an elephant because it's not an elephant.
I don't know.
We just didn't do episode 15.
Oh.
We had a lot going on last week.
Yeah.
And so that episode barely got watched by me.
Look, I'm silly because I was like, what elephant are you talking about? Completely forgot about it.
The episode was barely watched by me. I did watch it, but we just did not get the chance to record it. And instead of mashing it all together, we'll just do 16. And if we have to reach back to 15 for reference.
I can give a quick synopsis of...
go ahead.
All right. So Elijah and Katina are crazy.
Why are they crazy? I don't remember.
Noah needs to grow up. I don't either. Noah needs to grow up. Steve is cool. Jasmine is still shaky on Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mike was like, "Gay, this game all I could give."
Look, they were good, but she's still shaky. And who else? Lindsay and Mark. It's Lindsay and Mark. Same thing throughout the whole season. All right, 16. Let's go.
All right. Who you want to start with?
Jasmine and Michael is cool. They were the first ones I wrote. So
they're the last ones I wrote. So we start off with Jasmine FaceTiming her friend Miles, and she tells Miles that she still just does not have feelings for Michael. At this point, I just don't think it's anything that the boy can do.
Nah, the only thing he can do is just
call him the boy. I'm just
he's a man. But only thing he really can do is like they by the end of the episode they got 3 days left. So only thing he really can do is put it on her. You know,
like just be like, Jasmine, let's just try to do it.
Like
real quick.
like what I thought he was like. He feels like he's friend zoned. Mm-hmm. When he was talking to his sister, he was like, "I didn't come for this this experiment to.
I came to get a wife, not a friend.
Yeah, even though she's one of a close friend now, obviously. But even on that, man, that's a good thing because at the beginning I didn't think they were gonna make it as friends, even. But Mike does have a new niece. I didn't know one of his sisters was pregnant.
I didn't either.
Cool. That's crazy, man.
It obviously wasn't Claire.
Nah, it wasn't her.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's obvious because that's the sister we saw the most.
Yeah, it's another girl. But he was talking like you can see how everything is good for them, right? They are like really good friends. They're getting along with each other. They're learning more about each other and everything else. Jasmina just doesn't like him like that. And it's hard to deal with when a person like you're like, oh, I like this person, but the person doesn't reciprocate that liking back. And that's what he's dealing with. And it's hard. And it's like, well, could she like me? She's giving me these markers for me to hit, and he hits them, but it's something still missing. And that's a Jasmina thing. That's not a Mike thing. So like you said, I don't think he can do anything else to like really convince her. I still don't think he has any game, but I don't think he can do anything to convince her because like you think of it, man, most of the time, like when it was with me and you, I wanted to be your friend. I wanted to be the person that supported you. Like me and you have had the conversation of, I want to be your biggest cheerleader. I want to be your biggest fan, from things that you do. But those things are just inherently because I want to be your friend, because I want to be your husband, and I want to be your man. That's funny, right?
As long as we're not in Family Dollar singing this song.
We wasn't in Family Dollar singing.
No. I heard it in Family Dollar one day and I called you and you started singing it on the
phone. But yeah, it's Jasmine, I went on side of my high horse, but it's just is it too little too late for Mike?
I've always felt like it was too late for Mike.
Yeah.
I am surprised that they got to this point at the end, but Jasmine has not been able to give him a clear path to make her feel a way. Like, it's never been a conversation of, usually it's like, when a guy does this for me, or when I look at a guy, I just know. Like, it's none of those things with him. Yeah. So,
like, it's even,
or she doesn't give him those things.
I even wrote down, like, her friend Miles, you said, he told her to, like, have you told him what to do? Mm-hmm. And she was like, no. It's like best advice you could give a person.
And then he was literally like, no, then she was like, I think he's afraid because of how things happened in the beginning. And I'm like, well, if you think it, then he's doubly thinking
right.
It. Because we think of ourselves, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like the thing is, and I get it with Mike. Mike doesn't want to overstep a boundary because he doesn't know the boundary that he can go to. And she hasn't opened the door for him. Like, if you want to take it there with him, you're going to have to hold his hand because he's been scarred already. Not from, not from kissing you or hugging you or rubbing on you or anything like that. But for the most part, he does not want to repeat anything that went on before. And he doesn't want to disrespect her in any type of way to make her feel a type of way. So he's just really been playing it safe. But now it's not a time for him to, like, he has to put it all on the line. Like, I ain't saying go rape this lady or anything like that.
Definitely not.
Right. But kissing her, touching her, seeing, like, let me hold you. Let me do this. Let me.
Flat out just saying, Jasmine, can we have sex tonight?
Hey, sometimes it works.
Here you go.
Sometimes you just got to put it in their ear, Not, you know what I mean.
Mike set up salsa dancing for them. And after they got done salsa dancing, they sat down and they talked over dinner. And Jasmine told him that she still doesn't have romantic feelings yet. Mike is just like, he hurt by the conversation. Like, you could see all of the disappointment in his eyes.
Yeah. It was cool to salsa dancing. My wife won't go salsa dancing with me because I was cold.
You took one class.
And I made an A in that class.
Okay. I made
A++.
I made an A in walking. That don't mean.
I actually failed walking.
Okay, then. See how that goes?
You see what I mean?
That the A in salsa doesn't mean that you're just...
it means a lot, man, because I failed walking. So it means a lot. I really like that class.
Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for what I have for them. As it seems like they had all the ladies move out of the apartments and go back to their homes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I didn't write anything about it. I just remembered it.
I'm glad I wrote something about it. I was like, there's no way she leaves and Mike doesn't kiss her.
And they did.
And they did. I was like, Mike is just, she gonna say no on decision day. Because it's nothing for her to go off of, to remember by. Like, we had fun activities. We went out, that was cool and stuff like that. But it was nothing to make her long for him, I guess. You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh, man, now she goes home with no remembers, like the last thing she remember him doing or saying, or some of the last things she remember him doing or saying is just waving by. Not a hug, not a kiss, not a rub, nothing, So I think she's gonna say no. I guess I think she's gonna say no. And I feel like Mike has no choice but to say yes if he wants this to go anywhere.
Yeah, Jasmine has to answer first.
Yeah.
Or-
I still would think he would say yes.
No, he's still gonna say yes. I would have wanted this. You just didn't.
You just, anyway.
So going backwards for me, since that was at the bottom of my list, I have Elijah and Katina next. Who do you have next?
That's next on after Jasmine and Michael.
Well, good. We're just backwards from each other.
Yeah.
So Elijah met up with, I think his name was Coach Mac. And he was telling Coach Mac that the issues that he had was he wants to travel and books aren't in the picture of his future of travel. I did learn a little bit more in this episode with Katina. So this seems like Katina is just starting school because she is getting her associates to then get her bachelor's to become a nurse.
Yeah.
She got a road ahead of her. Not to say that she can't do it because it can be done, but she definitely has a road ahead of her because, nursing is difficult.
Yeah.
Just from people that I know that are nurses.
You expect it to be difficult because
you can have someone's life in your hand.
Right.
Some people go into it and thrive. I would hope that for her, if that's what she wants to do, which sounds like that's what she wants to do. But I do think that Elijah has to take a step back and just realize that no matter what, every vacation isn't going to go the way that he wants it to. I remember us going to the Bahamas, and our first night of the vacation, we kind of had to hang out in the hotel room because you had a test to take.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I going to be mad and be like, I don't want to be married to you because you're in school? It's like, no, this is a dream that you didn't necessarily have when we first started dating, but it's something that you decided that you wanted to do, and you went back and you got your master's. And did we have to sacrifice things? Absolutely. Mm. But once you took that test, we were good to go. Yeah. Like, Bahamas, here we are.
I saw, me and my uncle was down at the bar. Me, my uncle, and my cousins at the bar later on that night.
I didn't even make it to the bar that night, I don't think. I think I had came and got a glass of wine and went back to the room.
Man, it was cool because everybody left me alone.
Yeah, and it was like when you were actively taking the test, like not just studying, I went and hung out with our family that was there. Talked to our friends that were on the way there because we took a big trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
But it was just like, this is what he has to do to get to the fun part of the weekend. Who am I to say I can't risk, or I don't even want to say lose, but basically not have 4 hours with you over the course of a week.
Yeah.
Just because you're actively taking classes. I think his
problem with the conversation is he's looking at it as it's a hindrance more than something he's willing to, I don't even want to say willing, but more than something he wants to have to deal with because of a previous relationship. But as we see, Elijah is very headstrong. When it's something he wants to do, that's what he wants to do, and nothing can stop him. You know what I'm saying? Type of deal.
I probably would have cussed out Elijah a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people probably would have cussed Elijah out a lot.
Like, not even saying like being in a romantic relationship with him, but just like being his friend.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is stupid.
Yeah. But like, Coach Mac was telling him the truth. Like, if that's something that you like, you don't want, maybe y'all not supposed to be together because at this point, it's your decision now. You know, like, I never thought about the idea of if a person went to school and they made the sacrifice. If I want to be with you, I'm gonna be with you, and I'm just gonna make those sacrifices with you
because the sacrifice isn't decades long.
Right.
The sacrifice, hers might be a little bit longer depending on how she does this.
Like it,
and I'm just saying that because of what she's going into.
Right. And the thing is, and I hate that he like kind of like throws daggers at her about her just now trying to go to school, just now trying to figure out what she's trying to do.
Like she's 57.
I'm like, man, like I didn't decide to be an accountant until I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like lived, worked, did what I wanted to do.
Made a decent living.
Right. And then decided, no, I want to be an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back to school and do that. And it's right on par. Like it doesn't matter when you decide to do something. It's just go do it. And as her spouse at this point or a friend or, you know, trying to make that decision, it's on him to figure out, does he want to be her cheerleader and support system? Or does he want to just go travel and live his life? He
doesn't want to be a cheerleader. He wants to be cheered.
Yeah.
Because remember, that was one of the things that his mama was like, here, it's your turn. Like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, that's one of the things he has to learn from being a friend, from being a partner, a spouse, or in just in general, just being a human being, man. When people do good things, man, you should cheer it.
I wish his sister-in-law could have been the one he sat down and talked to.
Yeah, I really do wish she would have been more involved with his thought processes in this situation, because she seems to be the one that was like, I don't know if this is right for you.
Right.
But yeah, we ain't even got to none of the other stuff that they did. Who did Katina talk to? Oh,
mm-hmm. I don't think Katina talked to anybody. I know he sat down with Lindsay as well.
He sat down again with Lindsay,
and they basically had the exact same conversation that he had with Coach Matt. And Lindsay was like, "Suck it up."
But the thing that I do appreciate about Lindsay, when he started talking about the cooking stuff again, I guess
hold this thought real quick, because somebody told me he ain't gonna talk about her cooking no more because he said it on the after party. He is still doing it.
Right. Who said that?
Somebody in our comment section. I'm like, he's still doing it actively. The episode that he said he wasn't gonna do it no more, he was still doing it. This was all after the fact, but I digress. Go ahead. He said about her cooking, I'm trying to help you come back.
Yeah.
And then he also was like, and she works from home. Lindsay was like, dude, I work from home. That don't mean that I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. But he's like, not my wife. Like, bro, if she's sitting there just twiddling her fingers, man, she's working. Like, her job is like, if your job is you work third shift, I believe he said.
He works a swing shift.
A swing shift. So
a lot of times it's third.
Yeah. So the times that you're up, she's asleep. And the times that you're asleep, she's up working.
My thing is I think back, and you're hybrid right now, but when I think back to when I was in an office 40 plus hours a week, there was still a lot of thumb twiddling.
Yeah.
There was still I couldn't listen to my music out loud for everybody in the office to hear, but I still listen to all the podcasts that I listened to. I was still like keeping up with what was going on in the news. Like, I wasn't like the whole 8 hours sitting there at a computer just typing away. Like,
nobody does that.
There's downtime in just about every job.
Yeah, you should just take breaks anyway.
Right. But it's like, sometimes there's just nothing for you to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're waiting on something for someone else.
Man.
From someone else. Like, there's just...
Man, it's so irritating with his thought process. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, man, you have had that conversation before where I've been like, man, I don't want you to lose yourself in being a mom, because a lot of times I feel like moms get lost in the family because they're the biggest supporters, of everybody. Mm-hmm. And for Olajuwon and Katina, he wants that. He wants her to, for lack of better words, follow him. Mm-hmm. I think he's super misogynistic, but he doesn't understand that he is or knows that
he
is.
definitely doesn't see it.
Because they went on their last dinner date and they talked about, that they get to laugh and, they laugh all the time at each other and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. But then he said, if we say no, he was like, because she's female, she would be more sad than he would, or she would take it harder than he would.
Well, he would be the one that says no.
Right.
So automatically, the person that says no is usually less sad about it than the person that says yes.
He was like, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. But you'll be sad, but you'll be more sad than me. I was like, Elijah Warren, you're childish and you sound stupid.
Bruh, if you say no, I'm dancing on a bar that night.
Matter of fact, I'm going to just say no.
I don't even dance on bars, but I'm going to dance on one that night.
Yeah, that's so irritating, man, because it's like, how you going to tell her how she going to feel? She could be playing you this whole time and saying like she just don't like the way you think, like the way you deal with things. Because the hardest part for me to get over is this man wants her to cook and he doesn't know how to cook himself. And then he made it a big point to say she's learning to cook to Lindsay. That's what he said to her. Mm-hmm. I was like, this dude here.
He need to be happy he not married to the woman Al Green was married to. He would have had a pot of grits on him.
I wonder where he gets his thought process from.
His mom.
Well, she was a single mom. And I bring that up because it's like his mama had to do everything.
Mm-hmm. That's where he gets it from. His mom didn't teach him how to cook because she was too busy trying to just get it done. That's usually how it goes. Yeah. Like, people invite you into the kitchen to teach you things because they know that you need to learn them, right? But when she had like 5 kids. I can't be fooling with all of y'all in the kitchen. Everybody get out of my kitchen.
But usually the older kids teaches the younger kids.
So my family was opposite. Like, as far as my mom and her siblings, the older kids clean up very well. The younger kids cook very well.
I know my sister showed me how to cook eggs. And then I was a bad boy after that. Chef and the cook in the kitchen.
Okay, I'm just gonna totally zoom past that. But you have to have those moments of wanting to do that. But that's kind of like, even as an adult, if there are things that, one of the things my mom always told me, like, just trying to speed this up, one of the things my mom always told me was, if there's something that someone in the family knows how to make that you love, you learn how to make it from that person. Mm-hmm. And so even in my adult years, I still call my aunt or my mom and ask how to do things for meals that I've either A, never made, or B, don't make often. Yeah. And I think I got a lot of stuff pretty down pat. I can't think of much that I don't know how to make that I want to learn how to make from them. Anything else is just stuff that, like, we didn't eat that growing up. I thought it was good. When I had it, I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. And when you look at it from that standpoint, it has to just be something that you want to do. Katina has not been that girl. I don't know how. I know she's the only girl in the house and it was a lot of boys. So I would have thought she would have been brought into the kitchen more. But if her mama don't know how to cook, why would she know how to cook? And then on top of that, she's like a food blogger. Mm-hmm. So her thing is not, I'm at home cooking, it's I'm getting my meals going out. Yeah. So, I mean, when you look at the path that she's led, you just need to be happy with what she know how to make. If she can make spaghetti well, then, bruh, you eating spaghetti once a week, at least. Yeah. And if it's anything like growing up in my mama's house, she eats spaghetti 3 days a week. Because if she make it, she making a lot of it.
Man, it's just, I'm just a person of, I'm not going to complain if you don't know how to cook. I would rather you learn to cook or be willing to learn to cook. But I'm not going to be
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I accept the fact that you don't know how to cook and I do, that's just something I'm just gonna have to accept. If it's something that I can't accept, but if you're willing to learn to cook, I'm willing to show you how to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because cooking for yourself is a essential skill for survival.
No, eating is an essential skill.
That's
for
what I'm
survival.
saying. Like, you have to know how to.
You have to know how to find food.
How to find food and prepare it the way that it needs to be prepared. Because you can't eat raw chicken.
He survived off of peanut butter sandwiches.
You can't eat raw chicken.
Okay, peanut butter sandwiches.
I mean, like, you can eat peanut butter sandwiches.
Right. That's not cooking, though. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Katina needs to say no.
She does.
I think she's going to say yeah.
I'm sure they both will.
Who you got next, man?
Noy and Steve.
Okay.
That's not who you had next.
Nah.
You want to go to Mark?
No. We got Noy and Steve.
All right. So Noy meets up with one of her friends. Didn't catch the friend's name. She talked about the emotional roller coaster that they have been on, and then the friend asked about Steve's job plans. Noy was basically like, I'm not very reassured by his job planning. And I'm like, I don't really know what you want him to do. I did find out a couple of nights ago from watching videos on YouTube that they do have to sign prenups.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
that's good.
With them having to sign prenups, if I was Steve, I still wouldn't be like, look at how much money I got in the bank. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
But Steve is able to leave with what he had. So if she don't believe him, it is what it is.
Mm.
But I think that Noy's lack of knowing comes from her lack of asking.
Mm.
Because I would sit down and try to have the conversations of, all right, so how you say you can do photography, how much money can you bring in realistically monthly from photography? Like, what are you taking pictures of?
It's not even a sense of how much and what can you. It's a sense of, no, just tell them what you need.
That's what I'm saying. But if my issue, I'm thinking about me, Artieka. Yeah. If my issue is Tommy keeps saying he's going to be a photographer, he's going to be a photographer, he's going to be a photographer. And this is how he's going to make money for our family. But he is living currently off of his savings account. My question would be, what type of photography are you about to get into? Like, let me help you with that. Because if my thought is you going into photography can impact where we live, what cars we drive, and things like that, then I would be like, okay, let's sit down. Let's have this conversation. You want to do what type of photography? Oh, wedding photography. Are you expected to be booked every weekend? Because if you're expected to be booked every weekend, I might have to rework some of the social plans that I had for us, because that means your Saturday nights gonna be booked every weekend. Yeah. Or that's the goal, is for it to be booked every weekend. So let's sit down. Let's devise a plan. Let's make a calendar. How you going to advertise these services? Like, those are the types of questions that I'm going to ask, because I know what a wedding photographer costs on the low end. I know what it can cost on the high end. Where is your skill set in here?
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like she wants to know the answers to those types of questions.
Because she don't. Like, the thing that her and her friend was talking about, you've never seen Steve with a job. Do you even know if he can hold down like, what sense does that make? If a person can or can't hold down a job, but can this person bring in income? Steve has lived, like, at this point, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months off of his savings.
I mean, he's getting paid from the show. Don't get me wrong.
He's getting paid from the show at this point. But, I mean, like, for all intents and purposes, he's lived 6 months because if going on the show or not going on the show, I don't think Steve still would have got a job. Mm-mm. Steve, like, when they talk to each other, and we're skipping around at this point, but when they talk to each other on their date, Steve was like, and what I really, like, thought it was, Steve was like, I worked 4 years as a sales engineer. First off, Noah never even looked up what it was.
Mm-hmm. She was like, I didn't know what you did.
Like, for me, that's stupid. If I didn't know what my spouse did and they told me what it was, I'm Googling it.
Even before that. So let's start off. I'm taking it back to you. When you said, Artieka, I'm going to go and get a job in the financial field.
Yeah.
I was like, so what do you want to do in finance? The first thing I did was went to Occupation Net and was like, what they make in Georgia?
Right.
Oh, you want to do finance or you want to do accounting? Okay, what kind of accounting do you want to do? Like, let's see, is this viable? Because you were leaving a job that was at that point in your life the most money you had ever made to take a job that was less money, to be flexible for school. And it's like, okay, what's the earning potential here? All right, so we got the earning potential here. This is what you can make coming out of school. All right, let's go for it. Because we looking at 2 years of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Versus you having the earning potential to make double what you made, depending on how far you go in this. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I'm doing, and I don't understand why she didn't do it because her job is literally to help people find jobs.
Right.
Like I want to know how much they make. What do they do? Explain this sentence here. Yeah. What does this mean in the skill set that you must have?
By the end of 8 weeks, there's no way we have a conversation about his job occupation, and I'm not asking questions specific to the job, you know. But even with that, her not looking up anything shows me that she didn't care. But the thing about it is, it's like Steve doesn't want to go back into the field that he's in because he got burnt out of it. And you can't blame a person for being burnt out of something that's like, he said he did it for 4 years and it's not the way he wanted to live his life. Even though he made a bunch of money, you know, apparently he made a bunch of money and stuff like that, but the money didn't give him happiness. And we can see that from when she sat back in the last episode and talked with Steve's family. Steve was a music artist.
Yes, Steve put out a single apparently that was hot in his suburban community.
Right.
What else did he do? He was talking about Steve
him winning Best Dancer.
Was it Best Dancer?
They went on a dance.
Yeah, but that was because of Noy.
But like he won Best Dancer, or that was a superlative from his high school.
Yeah, he won something. I'm trying to make sure it was
and you
Best
can tell
Dancer.
Steve
I can't
can
really
dance.
remember.
You know, at 38.
Yeah, it was Best Dancer.
Yeah. At 38, he's, you know, still a decent dancer. You know what I'm saying?
Steve is a person that is like, oh my God, you know how to do that too?
Right.
And for that, I just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But
you can tell that like Steve being put in a box like that wasn't gonna work for him because of how creative he is capable of being. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that he's 38 and he's like, nah, I want to do something else. Let me figure out what I want to do. I'm taking this time. I got this money to take this time to figure out what I want to do. Maybe you shouldn't do that and try to be a husband at the same time, but still, you look at yourself as being able to provide for you and your family. You understand because you have that structure in your home growing up, so you know what it looks like. It's not like it's something new or anything like that. So you you're looking at the situation like, okay, let me take some time. Let me figure out what I really want to do and then go do that.
Right.
And Noi, and I understand Noi's point of view, but like you said, Noi is not asking those correct questions. Noi is not being the type of supportive person that she needs to be in order to get him to where he needs to be. Mm-hmm. You know?
I feel like Noi is being passive aggressive in this whole thing. Like, she's complaining about it in the confessionals. She's complaining about it in like to her friends. Yeah. But she's just not bringing it to the forefront with Steve. Yeah. And that's where the problem lies. Steve sat down and met up with one of his friends. And the friend that he met, I don't remember her name, but the friend he met up with, they sat down and they looked at diamonds. And I was like, I'm that friend. You want to look at diamonds? Call me. Mm-hmm. I know how to do that very well on a professional level. Mm-hmm. But I was like, even in that, what he picked as far as the setting was concerned, it was a lot of attention to detail with this diamond. Like, it needs to be this grading and all these things. I was like, okay, he definitely got some money to spend because he's not going out here and buying the $19.99 K Jeweler special. Mm-hmm. And so he wants to be with you, but it doesn't seem like he has a partner that is willing to do these same things with him. And I think that her in this apartment that she doesn't want to leave is just a cop-out because she's scared to attach herself to him financially. Yeah. He's good for everything else. Like, I can go have sex. He can walk my dog. He can clean up. He can cook. We can hang out. We can have fun. But I don't want to live with you. And the reason I don't want to live with you is because if my name is on this lease, I'm now responsible. Mm-hmm. And if my name is not on this lease, if something happens, I still have to find somewhere to go. Yeah. And I think that's what she's most afraid of with living with him, which she keeps saying she doesn't know about doing at the ending of the marriage.
Like, that's the thing that I don't get.
Or ending of decision day.
I don't get it when, like, deciding to go on Married at First Sight or being chosen to do Married at First Sight, you know what I'm saying, says, hey, I want to be married. Mm-hmm. Some people just sign up just to be signed up, you know, but if that's the case, say no. I don't really want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you go through all of this and then at decision day, you just say no and you never gave it a chance. Like the other two, Alyssa. Mm-hmm. She just wanted. Just one of them. Yeah. She just wanted to be on the show. Mm-hmm. Like, it's truly what it was. And then she was like, okay, I can't do this.
If I don't get my perfect guy, I'm just going to throw tantrums and I'm still wanting to be here.
But, like, for Noah, it's like, if freedom and your apartment, if you were so attached to being, like, in your own place, like, being married is not the place to, it's not the thing to do. Mm-mm. Because it's like, okay, you get married, that automatically turns two people into one. Mm-hmm. That brings you with somebody. Like, you, at this point, for lack of better words, you have baggage. Mm-hmm. You know, so if that's the case, then don't do this. Right. But I don't think that was the case. I'm agreeing with you. You see that he doesn't have a job, you know, but he's able to provide for himself and stuff like that. And you haven't asked him about certain jobs and stuff like that. So it's like you sitting up here complaining about he doesn't have a job or you haven't seen him hold down a job, but you're not asking the right questions. And the excuse you brought up to not live with him was because you want to hold on to your freedom. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And how old is she?
She's 33 or 34.
At 33, most of us, unless we got married, had never lived with anyone else. Like as far as a romantic partner.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us were moving out of parents' houses and moving into our own place for the first time, somewhere between 25 and 30-ish. I get it. You want to hold on to these things that were inherently yours, but that's not what happens when you get married.
At all. Who thinks of when I get married, I'm not going to live with my partner?
I mean, there are some marriages that work that way. Dr. Pepper says she's in one.
Dr. Pepper has been married twice.
Right.
I'm talking about fresh, newlywed. I don't want to live with my partner.
I would then ask, what is the goal of the marriage? Because I have a lot of... I think about the things that she said and how they don't go together. So I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't want to live with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to pay for 2 households because I can't possibly...
I'm not doing that.
But I'm saying, you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't possibly pay for my own household with these children because I want to be a stay-at-home mom.
She sounds like she wants to be a baby mom.
I don't know. But family means so much to me.
It's my baby mama.
Family means so much to me. And I don't want to struggle, but I would like to stretch my husband's income as far as it can go because I want my husband to pay for me and the kids to live here. But he also needs to come by and cook and clean because I don't want to do that either. And walk the dog. But he needs to live over there. Because that's basically what she's saying.
All I heard was that she wants to cheat on him.
Okay, so I didn't hear that.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's the only thing that I can think of because right now you don't have any children.
Right. But she's ready to get started, remember?
Yeah, she's ready to get started, but us living in 2 different places, I'm not going to come over your house every day. It's like we're boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm not going to do that.
Unless we live in the same building and I just have to tiptoe 2 doors down.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I'm going to go home some days.
I'm going to go home a lot of days.
And you put room in there for voids. You put like, it could be raining one night. And I ain't saying y'all in a long distance relationship, but I mean, y'all are married and don't live in the same place.
If you're in Atlanta, it's a long distance relationship. I mean, I know they're not in Atlanta, but I'm just thinking about living here.
Yeah.
If even somebody living in the same county as me, I would be like, I ain't gonna make it today.
Yeah. It'd be like that sometimes. Because it could take
30, 45 minutes to drive from one end to the other. Mm-hmm. And then I gotta fight traffic to get back home. To go let out the dog. Yeah. So it's too much.
It's a lot, man.
It's too much.
You just put time and space in between you guys, and how do you continue to grow?
Best thing that could have happened to us was we lived a mile down the same street. Like a mile, same side of the street. Yeah. Like literal same street.
Right.
Because that just made it a lot easier to see each other. Like I'd be like, meet me at the grocery store that's in the middle.
That's funny, man.
But a lot of the things that she said are contradictory, and I want her to look at those things that she's saying that are contradictory and ask, how do they add or take away from the life that I really want to lead? The last thing that I wrote was, after dinner, they were in bed, and she got really upset with Steve because he was pointing out the things that she doesn't do because she was just like, you don't work, because that's the one thing that she can point out that he does not do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you don't cook, you don't clean, you want me to take out your dog, and your biggest gripe is I don't work. Not that I don't have income, but I don't work.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Steve, you might want to say that ring.
Yeah. We see he didn't get it to her.
Well, I thought he would give it to her on decision day.
I thought he was going to give it to her before.
I thought it would be like, who gave a ring on decision day? Was it Woody?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be like that. So last but not least, rounded out with Mark and Lindsay and trying to make some baby sharks.
Yeah, she gave that fertility test. I was like, that's insulting. But then Mark got on and said he basically took steroids that could affect his swimmers.
I completely missed him saying that.
Yeah, he said that. And I was like, oh, that was a conversation that they had. And she was like, if he can't have babies, then I don't really want to be married to him. It's like,
I wish
that's
that was
fair.
something that they wouldn't have done on camera.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wrote, this is weird because we shouldn't be thinking about kids yet.
They definitely don't need to think about children right now.
Or in the next 4 years. I guess Mark would because, you know.
Mark's a little bit older than Lindsay's. Like,
Lindsay says she's 34.
You don't believe her?
I don't know.
Okay.
Know what she said.
All right.
Mark says he's it sounds like I'm saying allegedly for Lindsay, but Mark said he's 38. You don't take that the wrong way. Because you might not believe Lindsay either.
No, it's not that. You just said it like you don't believe Lindsay.
I don't know. Mark met up with visited his friend John, and they talked about the week that Mark was having. Like, this is a really jam-packed week for him. He has gone to his mom's house and cleared out most of her things, or not most of her things, but cleaned up the house and got rid of some things, which for me, Mark is being smart. He is taking the steps to have him somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
He was also telling his friend, decision day is coming up, and he was like, he and Lindsay are up and down every week. Like, literally, they have not had a week where they have been fully up or a week that they have been fully down. They have been in and out of arguments all 8 weeks that they have been married. Mm-hmm. John gave him some advice to go with the most recent behavior because that is what shows the growth. And I was like, I think that's where my issue lies with Mark and Lindsay, is that if I go with the most recent behavior, Monday she could have said he has a small penis and that's why he ain't got nowhere to live. And then Tuesday, she's turning around and saying, Mark is a great man and this is why I love him. Mm-hmm. Her most recent behavior doesn't take away the sting from the day before.
Right.
Because you keep saying everything that you said the day before once a week. Yeah. If I hear that every week for 8 weeks, I don't want to fool with you.
Right, at all.
Elijah and Lindsay met up with each other, and basically she told Elijah that she doesn't like that he talks to other people before he talks to her about things. And I was like, have you stopped to listen to what he's saying ever?
Mm-mm. He's like, he doesn't want, like, he doesn't know how to conversate with her to where it's not combative, and he's basically trying to get his legs together when he's going to talk to other people. That's what O was telling her, and she's like, no.
Literally, he's planning out this conversation and he's getting people to tell him, all right, what's the direction that's going to make this conversation head the most south? Okay, I need a rebuttal for that.
Yeah.
But whoever he's talking to isn't giving him very good rebuttals for it because their conversations are still going.
I think Lindsay's she's such just like Elijah one. That's probably why they get along so well, is that she's such a hard-headed person, and her way, she's like tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. Her way is the only way that she's going to see. So it's hard for Mark, to really have an opinion about things because, in a sense, his opinion doesn't matter.
To her.
To her, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Anytime he tells her, I don't like when you do this, her next sentence starts with but. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, she also sat down with her friend
Carol
and talked bad about Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're sitting up here trying to like go through your thoughts, talk with your friend about your husband, but everything, it sounds like you're cracking too many jokes at him. Like, if he was sitting there, these would be offensive to him.
Watching them back, if they do say yes, watching them back, I wouldn't want to be with her. Like, I would go back however many months it's been since this happened and be like, you know what? You're a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to take this.
And then the fact that he asked her to stop saying that his life is in crisis and blase this and blase that because he doesn't feel like it is. Why are you going around still saying it?
At this point, and I think I said this in an earlier review, Mark's life is not in crisis or shambles or however she wants to describe it, because literally most of the issues were before her, and they're things that he cannot change. Mm-hmm. He cannot change the fact that his mother is depressed and he is the only child. It's nothing that he can change. When you are an only child, the burden of your parents falls only on you because you are the only one. Unless you have aunts and uncles who are able to help step in. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like he has a lot of that. I think the only thing that I can say that has happened to Mark, like, since they've been together, excuse me, is losing his job.
Yeah. That was direct correlation of him doing this show.
Yeah. But that's something that you guys have told us that he's bounced back from because he now has a job as a manager. Yeah. So that is what it is. The eviction that was pending before they got married. Yeah. Him needing to move out of that place. Maybe he's always had it in his mind that because his mom isn't in her home,
that's where
he would go. And this just sped up the process. He don't have to wait for a lease renewal. I think you have to look at things as there's some good, there's some bad, and we just have to figure out what of it we want to take. Right. Because him getting put out of that apartment could have been a blessing to his life financially. Now he doesn't have to pay rent there. And maybe the place that his mom had, she owned outright. Yeah. And he doesn't have to do anything. Right. I don't know how any of that worked, but I get what he was saying. Like, you are the shamble in my lifestyle. So they go and have their final date before decision day. This was in his
mom's house that he's moving into.
Well, okay, because she kept saying, "Are we at your grandma's house?" Yeah. And so it was like grandma had the place first and then mom moved into it. So it's something that's been in his family. Yeah. And they had a sushi dinner and he's like, "Look, I came a long way. In the beginning, I wouldn't even eat sushi." And she's like, "You don't try things with me." And that took me back to that. I think it was in episode 15 when they were talking about all of the foods that she's begging him to try. And he's like, "Stop, I don't want it." And she just doesn't realize how overbearing she is. Yeah. I hope that watching some of these clips to do after party or even watching the full episodes helps her out with that, to see that she is part of the problem. I don't know if she's going to care, but I would hope that it helps them to see that she's part of the problem. And something that was continuing from episode 15 was he wants to live in his family's homes. And she does not. She was like, I don't want to become any part of your old life. And I'm like, girl, sometimes you just got to look at economics.
Yeah. That's true.
A lot of times you just got to look at economics. I don't know the money story surrounding the place that he wants them to move into, if that's where he wants to live forever. But he's like, my grandmother and my mom put a lot of love into this place. I would want to come in and include you in the love that's in this place. And she's like, absolutely not. I'm like, so you want him to move into that studio apartment that you have that you don't even have storage for you?
Yeah.
Just to say, I don't want to live somewhere that your family live first. Like, that's just not fair.
I don't know. I just think that's more conversation. It's not fair, but I just think it's more conversation to be had around that. I laughed because she was like, she need a $500 budget to like do all these renovations that she want to do to it. And I was like,
$500?
$500 is not going to get all of that stuff done.
What did we spend? Like $200 on just paint?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know, man. It's you look at the situation, you think about it, and you be like, Lindsay just doesn't know what's going on, or how things are done, and she's not hearing what he's saying, and he's not hearing. Like, she basically was like you said, don't want to live in your past and be a part of your past, but like, she has to realize who she's married to,
and no matter what, you have to take some of a person's past with them, because your past is who makes you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I've said this while we've been reviewing Married at First Sight. Because of the household that you grew up in, you like having people around.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of your past, but it has entered our present.
Yeah. I saw that somewhere in the Bible, man. I've been looking for it ever since I saw it.
What?
It tells you to be around people and stuff.
I mean, that's just like...
I can't find it, man.
It's just like talking about church. Do not forsake the assembly.
Yeah.
Look, ask Jack and Glenn. They know. They read their Bibles every day.
I do too. Sometimes.
Okay, sure. Every day, no. All right. Well, that's it. I have to look up our predictions from the initial. I'm pretty sure I said Jasmine and Michael was a no. Katina and Elijah one was a yes. Noah and Steve was a yes. And I said Mark and Lindsay was a yes, but they weren't going to make it very far past decision day. Yeah. I think I said that for both Katina and Elijah one and Lindsay and Mark. Noah not giving me a lot of hope for her and Steve at this point.
I don't think they gonna make it either.
And we knew that Alyssa and Chris. Yeah. I hope that they can bring Alyssa back for the decision day.
She'll really want that. Huh? I don't think they're gonna waste their time doing that.
No, I just would like to hear.
It'd be interesting to for them to bring Chris back.
Well, I don't
talk to him.
I don't really have a lot to. Chris is a where are they now? Yeah. For me, but Alyssa, I would like for her to answer to the questions that Chris asked her on their honeymoon that she could not answer because she was such a good person. I would like for those things to stand out. And that's the only reason I want to hear from her, because it feels like a bash session, and it kind of would be for me. But you made these statements. They did not make sense. Why did you say this? Mm-hmm. That would be my thing for her.
Yeah.
Chris, we can wait until they do another Where Are They Now? Married at First Sight situation. Because apparently over the last 2 years or so, a lot of people's Married at First Sight lives have changed.
Yeah. With that being said, what's the question? You got any questions?
I don't. I guess, what are you guys' predictions for Decision Day? Decision Day is what, 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
So, won't get an episode next week. We
should do something next week, though.
We can do like a live or something. Maybe we can go
live and talk about the season with everybody. And, kind of do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can try that.
Yeah. Leave us your predictions at this point. These are final predictions before Decision Day. That's it?
Yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.